move to Ekiti State, where accolades and applause continue to pour in for the Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, for his brand of governance in the southwest state. This time, the State House of Assembly has commended the governor for implementing policies that provide care for pensioners, senior citizens, and public servants across the state. The minority leader of the House and chairman of the Committee on Public Service Matters, Establishment and Human Capital Development, Oladele Ogunsakin, gave this commendation during a two-day oversight to ministries, departments, agencies, and commissions in the state. Ogunsakin said various interventions of the administration of Governor Oyebanji have positively impacted people's lives, particularly public servants and pensioners. Sikian, how impressed are you?
I'm impressed because I've always said time with time number that any government that will not be able to take care of its ex-workers as it is, those the older people, is not what it's all, because you also will retire one day. And when you retire, what happens to you? We have seen successive government at the state and federal government level that don't pay pensioners. Some of them will come out in the cold, will come out under the sun, line up, stay for hours just for them to get their pension, and nothing comes. And when you ask yourself, how much is the pension? Some of them receive as little as 20,000 naira, 15,000 naira. In fact, that was the time that was so terrible when I was staying in Abuja, that within the Zone 3, Zone 4 area of Wuse, where you had the military pension, and you see some people, some air soldiers, they will come with their mats, come with pillows, and they lie down the street. Some stayed there for weeks. Stayed there for weeks. Ex-military men at that zone. I think they moved that office. But it was a total eyesore. And you see some of these men just say they were going around begging for arms, begging for people to give them food. These were retired soldiers, retired Air Force individuals, retired Navy naval officer. And you ask yourself, what is happening? What is happening? How much is the money of this? So they will tell them to come for verification. They come and verification upon verification and verification. I'm sure you've seen that, even in several states. And most of these state governors just think that they are doing them a word of good by paying pension. It is their entitlement. It is their entitlement. So we come and say, oh, they'll come and boast. We've cleared an arrears of 3 months. Still remaining 9 months. And we ask of what is wrong with them. And most often than not, you know the challenges there. Because some of those working now, when they see what happened to those before them, that is where corruption starts. They want to grab as much as they can because they know that at the end of it, when they retire, nothing comes to them. So this governor should be commended for doing this. And I hope that other governors will also follow. If you look at, I'm telling you, out of the 30 state governors that we have, or states that we have, I will tell you that I don't think that we have up to 10 states that have followed through the payment of pension. And it's bad.
Sad.
Somebody will work for 35 years.
One governor said people who are alive have not been paid. The dead are asking for money.
Can you imagine that?
It was already referring to those
them,
elderly people as the dead. It's a former Southwest governor.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? No. This is somebody that has...
So they don't prioritize...
They don't put priority to this.
Payment of pension.
Yes.
So if there's a governor who is prioritizing payment of pension, that governor has to be commended.
Yes.
One of the first things that Senator Obasanjo, governor of Kaduna State, did was to clear pension arrears. You know, when he came into office, that first month, according to him, you even have to take a loan to pay salaries. But once subsidy was removed, what they used to get went up significantly. You know, we are going to do a program in which, during the course of this week, we are going to tell Nigerians how much each of their governors now collects based on the fact figures of February, so that Nigerians will know the state that collects the most money, the state that today Ekiti State collects the least. Ekiti State collects the least, a little over 6 billion. That's what Ekiti State collects.
Delta collects the
the
highest.
lowest in the country.
Delta
Yet,
collects the highest.
in terms, we are talking about welfare of pensioners. The governor is being praised.
And he's also talking about reviewing it. Because it's
You know,
too late for him.
even the schools is already now increasing the subvention to states. He has conscience. He cannot look at what he's collecting now that is higher than what he used to get and not think of what he can do, you know, by way of making life better for the people. The poorest of the poor amongst us, the pensioners that we don't remember. We are struggling, some are struggling to, some governors. Do you know that even contributory pension, there were some governors who were not paying their own part of the contributory pension thing. Yet, deductions made by civil servants, you collect it. But your own side of the bargain, you don't pay. In this same Southwest, there was a governor who was doing that. We had all kinds of governors in this area. So, for me, if a governor is doing what Governor Oyebanji is doing, he has to be commended. His style of leadership is completely different to previous governors. I've said on this program before that he combines the qualities of Fayose with the qualities of Oni. Fayose, in terms of his swashbuckling style, he will inspect projects even in the dead of night. Fayose can sit with the poorest of the poor and they will be eating on the same table. He had that quality. This current governor of Ekiti has that quality too. He sits even at ward meetings, his own ward, he goes to meet with the people. So the way he moves around, and then when it comes to taking care of workers, Oni is one governor, you know, although his period was short-lived, but Oni was a governor. Till tomorrow, civil servants still love Oni. So you see what Bao is doing now, what Governor Oyebanji is doing now, is fusing the qualities of Fayose, the character of Fayose, with the character of Segun Oni. At the end of the day, you have a governor that virtually everybody is happy with him.
That's true.
All of the key political figures in rival parties, he has gone to meet them. And everybody is saying, you are doing well, you are doing well. If they are not careful, he will turn Ekiti State to a one-party state because it's difficult to even see those who are even against him now. He will turn Ekiti to a one-party state because some of the big opposition elements, some of the tough critics that we used to hear about in that state, some of them, he has rated some of them, and they have positive things to say about him. That means that he is doing well. Remember when he went to greet his principal? How many of these people even remember their humble beginnings? He went to the home of his principal and prostrated. When he saw Baba Febaola, he prostrated. You know, so those things, some of the things that he's doing sit well with our people. No doubt about it. And I can tell you he's a politician to watch. Given his nature, he seems to know what people want and is giving it to them. Look at his elaborate interventionist programs. You saw it, they showed it a while ago. He wants to touch every sector. Yet, Ekiti is still the state that collects the least. But there's a governor in Ekiti who is making impact that even his toughest enemies cannot deny. That's what governance is about. Reach everybody in little ways. Reach everybody in little ways. And you'll be able to sleep like a man who has conscience. You'll be able to sleep and say, God, I'm doing my best. Even the fear of God is a quality that our leaders should have. It's easy to know a leader who does not fear God. Because a leader who does not fear God will simply not care about the people. Whatever the people say, he doesn't care. He will think only about himself. Because that Nebuchadnezzar spirit in him will tell him that beyond my family, nobody else matters. And that has to change.
Sikian, before we move on, okay.
You know, you can give it to this governor because if you also know the debts he inherited as a governor, then you'll be shocked in terms of outstanding salaries, gratuities, and the rest of them. And one thing I've also noticed about him is like somebody that does not believe in gigantic projects. He goes for those projects that touches the life of the people. As a former governor in that state, that already 2 days before he left, they already commissioned an airport. I don't know, BK, I don't know whether the airport is, you know, you fly to Ekiti, you go to Ekiti, I don't know whether that...
They stop you, make you... Anybody stop you.
You know, and he already...
The airport is not ready.
Yes, and you can imagine, and you know why
it was a military aircraft that landed there.
Then you know why I mentioned that is that shows you governance. It's not a governance of deceit. You don't have to have a go, because the impression we were given was that airport was ready and somebody was leaving.
Not ready.
And it was not ready. Just a meeting.
People also, it's not the first person to
let us
a project that he knew was not ready.
I agree. So because when we leave those ones, we are talking of Ekiti. Let us focus on this particular. What I'm saying in essence is that you have seen, and how many years have you been in office? And what I've always said, just as I was saying before, it's not how many years you stay. It's not the political party. It's the impact you made. Purposeful impact. There are one or two governors since 1999 that if you anywhere they raise up their head. They used to, let me give you a critical example. The former governor of my state, there is a man called Sam Mbakwe. I'm sure you must have his name. PK knows that man very well. He was the governor of Imo State between 1979 and 1983, down 84 before that government. I will tell you, most of the major infrastructures in current Imo State, Abia State, and a little bit of Ipo State was done by them. He was called a crying governor.
Yes.
He was the only Imo State was the first state in this country to build an airport. State, by the people, not that the one that the federal government built of it. In those days, when I was very small, I was in primary school, they used to say that nothing is too small for Imo Airport. And you go and say, name them, Concord Hotel, this one, in Imo State. Nobody has matched the legacy of that man in both Imo and Abia State. And it's over 40 years now. If you mention anything and you say Sam Mbakwe, even the oldest, youngest of us, that is what I was talking about. Look at Obafemi Awolowo. Obafemi Awolowo was not the president of Nigeria. He was a governor of the what do you call it then? What was Southwest called then? Premier of Southern region. Today, when you mention Obafemi Awolowo, especially the Southwest, education, housing, let me bring it to him. There was also a governor in Lagos State, Lateef Jakonde. So many people that are whatever they are today, especially those that are within Lagos State, that went to school are now big men, governors, and the rest of them. They wouldn't have had the privilege of going to school. If not for the pre-education of Obafemi Awolowo and also Jakonde, especially in the Southwest. These same people that are oppressing us today, most of them went to free schools, secondary school. Their parents couldn't afford it. So what I'm saying is, it is not how long, it's not for how long, and bring it home finally. How much is Ekiti getting for the federal coffers? I've said it before, and I'm repeating it again, that in today's paper, in fact, in the Punch, go and check today's Punch, there is a state that is the number 3, of receiving in the South, that receives so much for the federal government. They have not been able to pay, they are not paying 30,000 naira minimum wage. And now, NS is saying that they want 1 million. They want half. If a state cannot pay 30,000 as minimum wage, how will you be able to pay 500,000? So this governor should be commended. And others should look at what he's doing and do same. Why I'm saying so is that if you are so rich, you are a governor over there, is everybody in your family, in your village rich? Yes, now. There are people that work, that also that will benefit from that pension. The prayers of these old people will go in a long way in business. So I totally commend and it's something that is verifiable. It's not something that we're just saying for the purpose.
Vicky, any final word on this? All right. So, gentlemen, let's go on a break, and when we come back, we will move on to other matters. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.